The views and opinions expressed on any program are those of the producers and/or the persons appearing on the program and do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of FRC Media, Bristol Community College, or the City of Fall River.
Well, hello. Welcome to Spindle City Straight Talk. I'm Chip.
And I'm CJ.
And it's Friday. TGIF. Oh, we got a ton of stuff today. It was a little slow at the beginning of the week, but it's picking up fast.
Oh, yeah.
Here we go.
Definitely picking up fast.
We're off to the races. So.
Now, does anybody remember a certain campaign promise made by a certain candidate for re-election of mayor about some purple bags being gotten rid of? I think I remember the quote being, "I got rid of the $10 fee, and I'm going to get rid of the purple bags." Wasn't that his quote?
Yeah, and we were at the, as a matter of fact, he said it at our debate.
That's right.
Said it at our debate. We got the tape.
Yep.
He didn't say, "I'll get rid of the purple bags if it's, whether it's prudent or not." He didn't say, "If we get money from the marijuana places, if we have the money." He said, "I'm going to get rid of the purple bags like I got rid of the trash fee." And guess what? This is the quote in that article in the Herald News. "It's not, quote, prudent, unquote, at this time to discuss ending the pay-as-you-throw program in the upcoming fiscal year," according to City Administrator Kathy Ann Viveris. Well, another campaign promise down the toilet. And by the way, just for the record, he had also promised to get rid of the purple bags, or try. And that, I have to give him credit. He said he was going to attempt to get rid of the purple bags in the last fiscal year.
Exactly.
And the fiscal year before that. So we've been having that, listen to this promise. But this time, all you acolytes out there that they've been smoking the weed before it's actually being sold, and or trying to defend them, it's not defensible. He said categorically, just like I did with the trash fee, I will eliminate the purple bags. Horse patootie. Again, a politician lying. But what disturbs me is there are people, after all the, I mean, we've got a litany of stuff that this guy's promised. Nothing ever happens. And when we get to Mark Monroe's column, he cites a few things, which I thought was very appropriate, because now we can segue from this into Mark, then into the TIFs. But guess what? What does that prove? What we keep telling you. They'll say anything to get elected. Anything.
And you'll buy it. And you'll buy it.
And you'll buy it. That's right. And you buy. But hey, look, bad enough to be gullible. That's not exactly the adjective I'd use to use for people who are still defending this guy on stuff like this. I hate to tell you this,
That's
but
right.
This is indefensible. He said categorically, "I'm getting rid of it." He didn't say, "Well, I'm going to try to get rid of it, blah, blah, blah." Now all of a sudden, what did we say about this? What have we been saying about all this stuff when they eliminate things? Even the trash fee. They had to find the money somewhere else.
That's right.
Because whatever they were paying with it doesn't go away unless they got rid of a department or got rid of something, but they haven't. They've increased everything.
My problem is this. Okay, he's quoting a $10 million surplus.
Yeah.
$10 million in the stabilization fund. That money came from overtaxation.
Yeah.
Free cash. Now, the bags generate approximately $2 million a year. Approximately. They never meet projections. But if you've got $3 million in free cash, guess what? That will only mean you'll have $1 million in free cash if you get rid of the purple bags. Yeah. So again, you have no excuse.
No, and that's if the numbers are real. And you know, we always question the numbers, but they're projecting it on one hand. But then Then on the other hand, they want to skim from the retirement system and jeopardize the retirement system for the active and retirees because they're trying to say, well, we don't have to put in as much money as PERAC said. Well, guess what? That's how we got the retirement system in the position we're in, because between 02 and 12, they didn't put enough money in. That's why we dropped from 70% funded to 40. That's why the bill is so large now,
right,
because they didn't put the money in. So what's the definition of insanity? Expect a different outcome with the same action. Take the same action again and expect a different outcome. Well, we've already proven that you can't do it that way. You can't overestimate. You have to be conservative, because contrary to what our crack financial team says, the people this affects are, number one, not liabilities.
According to Mary Sahadi, you are.
And according to Kathy Ann Viveris, we're debits. We're on the debit side. Well, guess what, Kathy? You've been working for about 5 years full-time, and you're going to grab a full-time retirement. You're going to scam the system. You're one of the problems, not the solution. But guess what? These people are neither debits nor liabilities. They're people, for the most part, who have worked 30, 40, and some more than 40 years, paid their fair share, expected the city to follow the schedule. And if you would have, your bill would be microscopic now, because we'd be about 90% funded. So guess what? Good luck with that, because guess who sits on the board, and we've already voted on it. Good luck, because it's not happening. But this, again, here's a city that talks about $10 million projected. It's crap. They can't afford stamps. They want people to chip in for stamps. Now they need money from the retirement fund. For what? To spend more money? They're giving out TIFs. It's ludicrous.
It's those $73,000 pay raises.
Not going away, people.
It's $73,000 pay raises.
But you know what we're going to find, CJ? You know what's going to really, what's really going to be interesting? To see how many election cycles he can promise to get rid of the purple bags. I mean, this is like the gullibility meter. We're going to see if the people in Fall River, it's going to be how gullible are you? How many times does he have to promise that he's either going to try, or he absolutely this time is going to get rid of them? Come hell or high water, I will get rid of the purple bags, just like I got rid of the trash fee. And guess what? There goes that promise.
Another promise bites the dust.
Another promise, done. See you later.
Another promise bites the dust, boop, boop. Another one bites the dust, boop, boop.
Oh, God, it just never ends.
Well, I guess Mark was having a bad week.
No, actually, him and the groundhog George were having they were having great conversations, and I love some of the things that he says, and it's so true.
I thought what was funny was Mayor Jazel Correa's lawyers bought steel doors for his office.
Yeah, and I like that, he also said so. When George entered into hibernation in the winter, I figured we'd have big news for him when he came up in the spring. So where's Make It Here? What happened to the slogan, the pins, the video, the extra video we were promised? Where did it go? Where did the $100,000 go? What did we get for the money? And it's like, and again.
Well, Spindle City Straight Talk has said what we've gotten for the money is nothing, nothing, and nothing.
Exactly. And
except Jazel's friends got money.
Exactly. And then he says, but we're called, because he's probably called too. No, so what do we got? Do we lack faith? Are we naysayers? Short-sighted beasts who sleep the winter away in dirt and waste the summer away lying in the sun? No, it's not true. And, he goes on to say about the administration of Jazel Correa is studded, and he's true, with stupid expenditures, like raisin bread is studded with raisins. enough chiefs of staff have come and gone that you could get them all together and you'd have a basketball team. The drug czar took off while spending money like a coked-up rapper in a jewelry store. I like that analogy. That's pretty good. He didn't specify which coked-up rapper and what jewelry store, but it's true. Monica Souza is advertised as the mayor's, quote, special assistant, unquote, or maybe his, quote, special agent, unquote. She replaces Faust Fiore, who moved on to some other department where he is a ghost with a paycheck, an employee in search of a job. No matter where they put Fiore in the government center, the person in charge of that department can't figure out what to do with him. Guess what? How many times have we said on this show about all they know how to do is waste money? And guess what? Again, they prove it to be true.
Money, money, money by the pound.
That's right. And this is why they want more. They always want more. You know, never with this added. And look, let's get back to the bottom line here. People, you know, we hear people complain about this all the time. They'll read this article, they'll read Marc's there, they'll watch our show, and we'll run into them, and they will scream about it. But then they'll go to the polls and elect the same council, the same mayor, and then they wonder why it continues. Well, guess what? You'll never ever see the tax rate held stable and say, give the taxpayer a break. You'll never see them streamlining government. You'll see it expanding like a mushroom.
But Somerset, you know, Somerset just stable. They got no increases, no tax increases in Somerset.
I know.
It's all level funded. How come Somerset can do it and Fall River can't? Why? Because we give $73,000 raises to people who don't deserve them.
That's right. And you give Monica Souza a job, and where does Faust go? Like he said, that's the problem. How many ghosts do we have walking around, employees? Because they just disappear. They take them out of one job, they stick them somewhere else, you never hear from them again, and now they're out of the line of sight, because that's the evolution. First they get some BS job that the mayor can hire them without council approval, and we classify them as confidential employees, and that way the mayor doesn't have to, you know, divulge anything, and then he gives them a bunch of stipends, and ultimately he replaces them. But then those people slide into real jobs. They're not doing anything because they're extra. Like they said, they become ghosts. But now they get on the regular payroll. That way they can stay on the job, because now they're working in City Hall in some department or somewhere else in some department. Now when the mayor leaves and the new mayor picks his special people, his special assistants and his chiefs of staff, they're not out on a pavement. They're going to collect a paycheck, and in many cases these people have stayed on for 30 years and gotten a retirement. So this is the evolution, because this is what the government does. They do nothing but waste money. And you wonder why, even though they're getting $3 million every year from the cost shift in the health care, they never have money. And even though they're paying $10 million less for health care this fiscal year than they did 8 years ago, and I got the numbers, just in case they want to say I'm not. In the next show, actually, I'll bring them, and I'll read them to you. But the fact is, we've cut costs in a lot of areas. We've shifted costs in a lot of areas. The city's always trying to get somebody else to do their work. He's got CDA paying his employees, which is probably illegal. But has this resulted in one dime of savings to the taxpayers? Has your water bill gone down? Has your tax rate gone down? No. No. And guess what? It's going up again next year. Not only a 2.5, but when they absorb all the TIFs they just gave out, which we'll get to in a moment. But you wonder why the city's the way it is. We just leave them in office. We complain and complain and complain. I always vote, and, Let these people, the only way in the old days they earned their vote was by holding taxes. You didn't see a taxing. Nobody, no mayor, even if it was only in an election year, but nobody ever raised taxes or fees in an election year. They were petrified to do that. Now all they do is promise to eliminate a couple of dollars. We're going to eliminate the purple bags. Again. So, like I said, the gullibility meter will be in full force in the next election. As a matter of fact, we might have it here on the show. You know, for the day after the election, to show you what the reading on the meter was. So, you know, and at the end of that gullibility meter, we're going to have our statue, the statue of dependency. So, let's see what happens, because look, people complain, but this city is you know, it's going fast. You know, we're circling the drain, and we're getting lower and lower on that spiral. We're getting ready to get flushed. And by the way, I have to, since I did mention retirement system and stuff, I have to educate one of the city councilors. Councilor Joe Camaro, when they were talking about skimming money, taking money, and that way increasing our unfunded liability. Oh, we're only pushing it out a few more years. Well, guess what? If you pay for a car with a 6-year loan, you pay a heck of a lot more for it than if you get a 2-year loan. You not only pay more because you're stretching it out to 40, you're taking a chance of a volatile market affecting that. That's what happened when they underfunded it from 2002 to 12, and they hit a couple of years where the market crashed, and they overestimated their revenue like they want to do now. Oh, this is way too conservative. And we went from 70% funded to 40% funded. Now the retirement system's in trouble, not because of the retirees, because of fiduciarily irresponsible politicians like these people. That's the problem. So what do I say to them? And I'll say it when this discussion comes up at the retirement board. Feel free to, if the city comes there, I'm going to tell them something very simple. We're going with the conservative method that PERAC says, because we have a fiduciary responsibility for the integrity of that system. And we're subject to lawsuit if we make bad investments and bad forecasts as fiduciaries. So my advice to Kathy Ann Viveris and Mary Sahadi is...
The Pinocchio sisters.
The Pinocchio sisters. If you want to shoot craps with the stock market, do it with your own money. Don't do it with the money that is a earned pension for people who serve this city. They're neither liabilities nor debits. They're people who earn their pension, and you have an obligation. You want to shoot craps? Well, guess what? The difference is you do it with your money and you lose. You can get up on a roof like they did in '29 and jump off when you lose all your money. When you screw this up with your pinhead plan that's already been proven, not only in this city, but throughout the country, all the pension plans that are in trouble, including the state of Rhode Island, was because they were skimming, not the employees, that politicians were skimming from the system. And and at the end, you know why they do it? You go, oh, why would they do that? Why? Because they have absolutely no consequences. You know what they'll do? When they taint the system, they're going to cut the benefits for all the people in the system. There's no harm to them. They go, oh, crap, raise the taxes. Your retirement system's in trouble. They're not going to finish the sentence by saying, we put it there. And then they're going to say, oh, like they did in Rhode Island, we got to cut your pensions. Even though you worked 40 years and we promised you this pension, you know what we're going to do to you? You know what the Italians say. So, but that's the key. And I got on this rant because it really upsets me because, you know, it's just, they're relentless. But as I said, City Councilor Joe Camara, when they were talking about this, made the statement that, oh, What are they going to worry about? In other words, to retire. What are they going to worry about? This isn't like a business. We're not going to go out of business. Joe, I think you were born and brought up in Fall River, but if you weren't, you live in Fall River now, I think, because you're a city councilor. This city already went bankrupt. The city of Fall River has been in receivership once. Look up your history. Don't say we can't go bankrupt. We already have. Once. You want to try for twice, like you're going to do with the retirement fund? Good luck with that. Educate yourself. We've already been. Not only Fall River, Google how many cities and towns in the state of Massachusetts have gone into receivership. More than one. Not only Fall River, I believe Chelsea and a few others. So guess what? When you make a ridiculously uneducated statement like we can't go out of business, you're saying two things. You don't know what you're talking about, and you don't give a damn about the taxpayer, because your solution is to always raise fees and taxes. And when you talk like that, you're about at the end of your reign and sitting in that seat because you don't belong there.
Speaking of taxes.
Yes, speaking of tax, that was a pretty good segue, huh?
Speaking of taxes, the TIF board gave 2 TIFs. One to Ocean State Job Lot, which I can see because they're going to create jobs, and the other to 64 Durfee LLC. That's the old Durfee Tech building.
Yep.
And that's Alan Macomber.
Yep.
Okay? And they're going to, now that's not going to generate jobs. No. That is to create market rate housing again. And if he gets this TIF, he can go to the state, to the Department of Housing and Community Development, and ask for state tax credits for developers creating market rate housing. Again. So this whole project is based upon it, and that's why it's been sitting around for years.
Yeah.
Hasn't done anything.
Yeah. Until they get the breaks, and we pay. Guess what, everybody? Both of these TIFs are going to go into the tax base for 2.5, so they're raising your taxes.
Again, we pay it.
And CJ, I respectfully disagree with Ocean. I don't think Ocean State Job Lot should get a TIF either. There have been a business in the city for a long time. They're moving because they're making enough money. They're moving to a larger space because they're making a lot more. They're going to make they feel they made a corporate decision that they needed larger space because they could make more money. Why should you give these companies that are making enough money? Now, if it's a starter company or something like that, even then, I'm not a big fan of TIFs.
I'm not a big fan of TIFs either, but here's the thing.
And if you give a TIF, it should be a back-end loaded TIF. Let them pay some taxes, or have it incrementally. Don't give them a freebie, because then they leave like a lot of them do. And the reality is that, look, this is business. We're flying in the face of, we're so desperate that this is actually a socialist city. If you got any money, you come in here, you don't pay taxes.
That's right.
The proletariat takes it for you. I thought in a capitalistic society, if you open up a business, this was I believe the term used to be laissez-faire. Right. You know what laissez-faire means? Let it be. Leave it alone. If you can't make it, you die. If you're a good businessman, you make it. We're not supposed to be giving the richest investors no taxes while we're grinding the poor people that make virtually nothing into dust. It's just wrong. It's just wrong. I'm sorry. And if you're going to give a TIF out, you better get some real concrete promises.
But this is the RIV. This is the RIV. We give TIFs to everybody except people who really should get them.
And how many jobs did we get at Amazon virtually?
And those are millions of dollars in TIFs. Now, here's the thing. Ocean State Job Lot already bought the building. They're already getting ready to move into the building, and now they're applying for a TIF. Why? Because it's Fall River, and we can do that.
That's right.
All right? Macomber's had this building on Durfee Street for how long? How long has he had it? He's done nothing with it. Now, all of a sudden, he's going to do something with it because he's going to get a TIF? Wait a minute. Didn't they do that down at Commonwealth Landing?
You're right. You're right.
That's how they're making their money. They're making their money on the backs of the poor and the Fall River taxpayer. It's time for these TIFs to stop.
Yep, you're grinding them into the dust. We're grinding the tax. Now, and a lot of people, and we've said it before, but hopefully we're reaching more people. They don't understand what a TIF does, because when you read 2.5, that's not. It's like the purple bags. You see, like we always said in our first show, follow the money. If there's money due to pay a bill, you have to have it. It's because you don't want to, and you want to eliminate the bag. It still doesn't relieve the fact that you need that income to run the budget. Same thing with the 2.5. The 2.5 is structured where, people have to pay taxes, business. Now, they give a business a TIF. What they're supposed to pay is still in that tax factor.
That's right.
Still in that tax factor. So guess who's paying it? You and us.
That's right.
And me. Yeah, we're paying it. They grind you into. So that 2.5 increase really isn't a 2.5 increase.
No, it can be much higher. It's
going to be much higher. As a matter of fact, I had a breakdown when we were talking about the schools. It was 3%, 4% some years, and we had the stats when we were
11% in some years.
11% in some years. That's right. So you wonder why your taxes go up. You go, gee, they really went up. Yeah, it's because and one of the big primary factors are these big TIFs. And and that's the key. And we had all those stats when we were trying to explain that we weren't against the school, that we were against overriding again, because this is technically a de facto override of 2.5.
That's right.
Whether you want to believe it or not, but because it's a technicality, it's within the law to do this. It's a de facto override. Because anytime you give a business a TIF, my question is, when are the taxpayers going to get a TIF? When are the residential taxpayers? No, we got the city council raising a hand saying, oh, let's increase the tax factor for the residents and decrease it for the businesses. And on top, let's give a whole bunch of them no taxes.
That's right. What the hell?
Who gives a damn, right?
Well,
it's only the people with no money that are paying.
Well, the Redevelopment Authority went into executive session and signed a secret agreement. To sell 91 acres of land off of Innovation Way to a company that's going to build a 1 million square foot plant to hire 500 people in Fall River. Now, you see, I can see maybe giving a TIF there. It's a new company coming in, but let's see what company it is. If it's a big company, well, maybe they can afford it already. But they're going to produce 500 jobs? Are there going to be 500 jobs for Fall River?
Yeah.
Or are there going to be 500 jobs for everyone else? And that's the thing that bothers me, because we didn't produce 2,000 jobs for Fall River at Amazon. We produced them for everyone else. A lot of people are coming from Rhode Island for those jobs. They're not bringing anything to Fall River.
And remember, they always tell us that's illegal, but it's not, because we know that in Rhode Island they mandate.
Cambridge mandates it. Other cities and towns
and they mandate it in other cities. I know that.
Right.
They Buddy Cianci used to mandate things. You got to, maybe you can't get 100, but you can get a percentage, and you mandate that construction phase, implementation phase. These things are possible in everywhere but the RIV. Because the RIV is an alternate universe.
And that's the problem. We built this Amazon plant and we used no local contractors.
Yep.
No local contractors at all. That would never happen in Providence. That would never happen in Boston. In Boston, they go so far as they say so many people must be women, so many people must be black, so many people must be Hispanic. They go so far as to make it that way.
No, you're right.
But in Fall River, we can't do that.
And
Why?
That was one
because
of the
Fall River's stupid.
And that's one of the reasons that they had, even though Buddy Cianci got arrested, he was basically the architect of the renaissance of Providence, because why? He put people in Providence to work. He put people in Providence to work. And they always tell you it's not possible, we can't mandate. Yes, you can. It's been done if it's been done in this state and all over the nation and right across the border, and they even had the governor saying it. But we got to say one thing quick. The list came out for the top 100 school districts in the state of Massachusetts. We got a contest. Guess what? Guess what city wasn't on there?
Fall River!
We have a winner.
Hey, we won't see you on Monday, but we'll be back next Wednesday. Monday's a holiday. 5 years for Patriots Day since the disaster. Please try to remember that, and have a great weekend and a great Patriots Day.
And remember the Patriots, especially those who gave their lives.
Definitely. Thank you, and have a great weekend.